Welcome, Commander. We've now covered many aspects of early and mid-game tactics and strategies. We're now moving into the late-game stage, and many of our previous lessons still apply. Keeping squads close enough to support each other, but far enough away to avoid unnecessary casualties. Maintaining field defenses to protect your troops and weaken enemy advances into your sectors. Upgrading your troops' equipment to boost combat performance, and shielding your vehicles from enemy anti-tank threats. Now it's late game, and it's time to prepare you for the hell that's about to break loose. If you plan to use armor, then you're going to need a maintenance crew. Engineers will take increased damage whilst repairing, so avoid repairing on the front lines. Keep your engineers safe and retreat vehicles all the way to headquarters if you have to, so you can repair at home. There are also other ways to repair vehicles that's worth mentioning. The US Forces Mechanized Support Center has a couple of engineers who will repair nearby vehicles. The Wehrmacht concrete bunker can be upgraded to a repair facility, and the British Armoured Battle Group can also unlock a repair facility. There are also vehicles which can repair, such as the M31 recovery vehicle from the US Forces Armoured Battle Group, and the 18-ton recovery half-track for the Africa Corps. Unlike engineers, these vehicles won't take additional damage whilst repairing, so it is a little safer to repair in combat. But the real benefit of these vehicles is being able to recover wrecked vehicles. And if you fancy hijacking your opponent's stuff, why not give this a try? Heavy artillery can have significant impact in the late game. There are two types of artillery. Off-map artillery in the form of battle groups and unit abilities, and on-map artillery which can be brought into the battlefield or constructed by engineers. Artillery can be hit or miss. Using artillery on targets which lack mobility or are immobile will assuredly do damage. To get the most out of artillery, gather your forces and time your advance when the bombs start dropping, forcing your enemy to suffer losses, abandon advantageous positions, or give up territory. Most artillery has minimal effect on armoured vehicles, so use it mainly on soft targets. Although there are artillery guns out there which are big enough to put a dent into enemy armor. If you have access to on-map artillery, try to use it as much as possible, since it does not cost munitions to use. There are no warning flares, which means the first shot can take the enemy by surprise. Artillery is more accurate if you have vision on the enemy. This logic also applies to mortars as well. On-map artillery can be vulnerable to enemy attacks, so keep it away from the front lines and consider fortifying the nearby area with mines and defenses. Off-map artillery comes in a variety of forms. Think carefully before dropping whatever payload the enemy deserves, because it's going to cost you a hefty amount of munitions. If you feel these abilities will be core to your strategic approach, then consider trying to set up some resource caches or munition points in the early game, allowing you to build up your stockpiles and use abilities more frequently. There are also abilities that can increase the combat performance of your units, increasing their offensive and defensive capabilities. These abilities can last for a long time. Using these abilities earlier, when your squads are still fresh, is better than using them when you're in a pinch, with your forces nearly depleted. For offensive abilities, gather your platoon and activate the ability as soon as you see the enemy, enabling your units to fully benefit from the combat performance boost. You might find that you can quickly overpower an enemy and push them back from multiple sectors. For defensive abilities, You will want to wait until your enemy feels committed to an attack, but don't wait too long. Defensive abilities can be great at giving you an edge when you've advanced more towards your enemy's side of the map, holding onto ground for longer by giving your exhausted squads an extra combat boost. If you have unlocked all the technologies you want, have plenty of fuel reserves, or are focused on infantry tactics, you might not need so much fuel. Reprioritize to capturing munitions over fuel points so that you can use more abilities to tilt the battle in your favor. Don't lose sight of the victory points. They will be of utmost importance in the later stages of the game. Focus your attacks where the enemy is weakest. To help capture points, use smoke to conceal your units. And to help hold points, bombard them with whatever you've got at your disposal. This is the end of the Skirmish series, and you should have all the theory needed to defeat expert AI. I believe in you, Commander. Of course, there's a half-track full of more tips and guides to help improve your command proficiency, but we will have to cover those details another time. Let us know in the comments if there are any topics you would like us to cover, and visit community.companyofheroes.com to join the co-development and provide feedback directly to Relic. Good luck on the battlefield, Commander. Anuki out.